Good morning. Now, in the last period, we have studied about the spread of the revolt. The mutineers had occupied Delhi and they proclaimed Bahadur Shah II as the leader. Now, the company fights back, or the today will start how the company suppressed the revolt, or the company fight back. Lord Dalhousie was the Governor General in 1856. After that, Lord Canning became the Governor General of India, and the revolt of 1857 was fought during the Governor Generalship of Lord Canning. So now, Lord Canning, the Governor General, took immediate step to suppress the revolt. He collected the forces from Madras, Bombay, and whatever sources he had at that time, and also the loyal Sikh army. Remember, uh, South India was remained peaceful during the revolt of 1857. North India took part in the revolt of 1857, but then also Punjab remained wholly peaceful. So the Sikh army, he ordered the Sikh army to proceed to Delhi immediately. Delhi was recaptured from the rebel forces in September 1857. Delhi was recaptured by British from the hands of rebel on September 1857. And what happened to Bahadur Shah II? Bahadur Shah II was tried in court and sentenced to life imprisonment and sent to Rangoon. His sons were shot dead before his eyes, and he and his wife Begum were sent to Rangoon, where Bahadur Shah died in November 1862. A very sad demise for Bahadur Shah II. What happened to Rani Lakshmibai? खूब लड़ी मर्दानी वो तो झांसी वाली रानी थी. So Rani Lakshmibai joined hands with Tante Tope. Tante Tope, commander of Nana Sahib. Nana Sahib from Gwalior. Nana Sahib was the adopted son of Peshwa Bajirao II. He joined hands with Tante Tope at Gwalior. British captured Gwalior in June 1858. Rani was killed in the battle. At that time, Tante Tope fled but later captured and executed. Executed means to kill. And at Bareilly, Khan Bahadur Khan at Bareilly. He provided leadership at Bareilly. Bareilly, it is in UP. And Kumar Singh, he was almost 87 years old. Kumar Singh at Jagdishpur. Where is Jagdishpur? It is in Bihar. Were also suppressed Nana Sahib and Begum Hajrat Mahal of Lucknow, fled to Nepal and died thereafter. Begum Hajrat Mahal, Lucknow. She provided leadership at Lucknow, and Nana Sahib, Gwalior, fled to Nepal, and after some time they were died. Some few local risings also continued, but by July 1858, all protests were over. So we have read about why the revolt spread, how the revolt spread, and how it was suppressed by the British. Many people were against the British. Then also it was suppressed very easily by the British. What were the failure of the revolt? Why this revolt? Why this first failure of the failure of the revolt? Why this great revolt or the first war of independence was failed? When the ratio between the European soldiers and Indian soldiers were 1:6, it was supported by citizens in large numbers. Rebels also occupied Delhi in the very initial stage. The British were crippled in the beginning, but they succeeded in suppressing the rebels very soon. Limited area. The revolt was limited area, or we can say the revolt could not spread all over India. The south remained peaceful, and the north, also the Punjab, Rajasthan, Sindh, they remained undisturbed or unaffected by the revolt of 1857. The Sikh army helped the British to suppress the revolt, so it was confined to North India, and even in North India, Punjab, Sindh, and Rajasthan remained wholly peaceful. Even the Sikh army helped British a lot in suppressing the revolt. Second cause for the failure of the revolt is lack of planning, or we can say lack of common ideal, lack of any planning and organization, lack of good generals. In this, we can say lack of planning, lack of common ideal, lack of good general, no attempt to cut British communication. The mutineers have lacked planning or they have no settled organization. The leaders provided the leadership to their limited area. Lakshmibai at Jhansi, Begum Hazrat Mahal at Lucknow. So there was no central organization, though they proclaimed Bahadur Shah II as the leader. But once they captured Delhi, their idea was lost. They don't know what to do after that. And there was no good general in comparison to British general. We have only few leaders at that time, Nana Sahib, Tanja Tope, Rani Lakshmibai. And basically, the arms organization was very weak in comparison to the British arms, or very inferior, in fact, not weak, inferior in comparison to the British arms and organization. And they hadn't tried to cut off the British communication. No, railways were not disrupted like this. There was no planning at all. Once they captured Delhi, all or everything is over now. The rebels lacked an ideology and program for the captured areas. Once captured, they don't know what to do after that. Military skill. The rebels lacked skilled military strategies and discipline in comparison to British. As I've already told you, that the arms and ammunition were very inferior in comparison to British arms. Mostly the rebels fought with swords and spears, while the British were using newly introduced rifles that grease cartridges, much advanced than the old rifles. Is one of the causes for the failure of the revolt. Fourth, attitude of rulers. Many rulers of Rajasthan, Patiala, Sindh, Gwalior, Hyderabad, king of Nepal, refused to help the rebels, though the rebels went there and asked for the help, but the rulers flatly refused to give support to the rebels and gave armed support to the British. And if the people did not get any support from the local rulers, how could they win the battle? In, in the attitude of the rulers didn't support the rebels, and also the educated Indians, the upper class, the middle class, also did not support the rebels. On the contrary, they supported the British. The jamindars, the people, upper class, the middle class, the educated Indians, did not support the rebel. These are the few causes for the failure of the revolt. But we should remember that the courage of the people were no matched to anything. They have only one point in their mind, thus that to oust the British from the country. They have no good generals, no planning, no resources. Then also they fought with vigor and bravery, and this was the inspiration for the future movement. After the failure, after the revolt, the British took lesson from the revolt and they made changes after 1857. Revolt failed, but very important in respect officers heard. First, important change were end of the company's rule. The company, which was established in 1600, the 100 years old company's rule in India came to an end. Now, the government of India passed into the hands of British Queen and a parliament. In subheading of end of the company's rule, 100 years company's rule was ended, and the company and the administration of India was taken into the hands of Queen and the King of England. The Board of Control and Code of Directors were abolished. In its place, a Secretary of State for India and the 15-member Indian Council were created. The Board of Control and Board of Directors were abolished. Instead, a Secretary of State for India and the 15-member Indian Council were created. In the effects in army, one of the nature of the 1857 revolt was a super mutiny. So naturally, changes in the army or in fact returning to army. The army was thoroughly reorganized and proportion of British soldiers were increased in the number of European soldiers. Earlier, it was the ratio was 1:6. Now, 1:2 or 1:3 were made. Mixing of different classes of sepoy, like the Awadh army. When the Awadh was annexed, it was not liked by the Bengal army, and the Bengal army revolted against the British people. Now, different people of different castes, different religion, different reason were mixed into one army, so that the unity could not become up in the mind of the Indian people. So a policy of divide and rule was adopted by this revolt. And one most important effect was the policy of territorial annexation was also brought to an end. What I said, the policy of territorial annexation was brought to an end. The policy of territorial annexation. Annexation means अपने उसको अपने में मिलाना या imperialism, to extend one's own empire at the cost of another. Territorial annexation, British Empire को extend करना. Lord Wellesley, Lord Dalhousie had annexed many states into the British Empire. Lord Wellesley through the Subsidiary Alliance, Lord Dalhousie through the Doctrine of Lapse, many states were annexed. So the many Indian rulers were against the British people. So, and this one of the cause of the revolt of 1857. So now the policy of territorial annexation कि अब कोई से भी states को lapse नहीं किया जाएगा. The policy of territorial annexation brought to an end. And one of the main effect was the British Parliament passed the Government of India Act of 1858. The British Parliament passed the Government of India Act of 1858. In the Government of India Act, many provisions were there, such as promise of religious freedom. Earlier, in the before 1857, the people were molested or favored, like Christian people were favored. But now, a total promise of religious freedom. These were the important provisions in the Government of India activity dates, such as the governing soon was ended. Now the administration was to be taken into the hands of British Parliaments. All these which were effected after 1857, all were included in the Government of India Act of 1858. So now we have read about the nature, causes, failure, and effect. And no doubt, I do consider that every student would be of the opinion that it was the first major revolt during the East India Company, or it's the first war of national independence. Thank you.